All right, everybody, welcome to a special Friday night edition of Teaching Crypto. Please hit that like, that subscribe button, bell notification. Super chats in the store are open on this special Friday night edition. All right, so we've got some good and some bad news. Our old buddy, Stephen Ehrlich, can't quite escape this guy, Mr. FOMO. And so here's the verdict from guess who? The FTC, Federal Trade Commission. I'll just read it here and um, get your feelings on this. The FTC hit Stephen Ehrlich with a $570 million judgment. Now, before you get excited, 2.8 million judgment against his wife, Francine Ehrlich. Ehrlich permanently banned from promoting or selling crypto products. The FTC accused him of deceptive crypto marketing and illegally accessing customer financial data. That was new to me. Too bad, too bad when we were going through the trial that didn't come up. Or maybe it did. They just didn't do anything about it. This is going to anger a lot of people. The $570 million judgment suspended provided he pays $2.8 million and fully complies with financial disclosure requirements. Unfortunately, no jail time for Stephen Ehrlich. You see his Twitter handle there, his X handle. He has blocked me, so I can't contact him anymore. Settlement terms agreed, pending court approval. It's nice to see some accountability, but obviously you probably feel the same way I do. There's not enough here. This doesn't go long enough for the accountability scale.
He made tens of millions just in 1 year in his crypto investments, and leading up to the fallout of the 3AC loan that he signed off on. And he only has to pay 2.8 million. That seems like he's getting off pretty easy. I mean, I'd love to see some accountability for him, and I guess for his wife. I didn't know she was in on it too, but I guess if she's
he was putting the money. He was throwing the money all to her. So when he went to court and the wind down came for him, he could be like, "Oh, I don't have any money in my account."
Yeah, he's. It's good to see some accountability here. It's good to see him paying out millions and his wife paying out millions, but he's still a free man. And, you know, a lot of people were hurt by this Voyager debacle.
The scumbag, the Stephen Ehrlich.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. He's never personally taken accountability for making a bad decision as the CEO. And to me, this is a slap on the wrist compared to what he should be getting. Absolutely. I mean, you see other CEOs spending 50 years in jail, and all he has to do is pay out 2.8 or I guess 5.6 between him and his wife. It seems a little light.
Well, unfortunately, no jail time. He deserves it. He won't get it. But too bad. And I don't know how much money this is going towards the wind down. It's not going to be much. Every 20 million is 1%, right? So it's not. I mean, he should be paying his former customers for the rest of his life. he should be slowly paying off that debt somehow, some way. I know it's never gonna be enough, but it's just a shame. I mean, we try to move past this. I didn't even expect this news to come forward, but obviously we've got to share it. We had some scam alerts last time, and we keep getting asked, when is the next payout? I don't know. Hopefully this helps just a tiny bit, but you know, man, this guy is something else, showing up at the Bitcoin conference, pretending like he hasn't done anything and he's a nobody. So, you know, good that
the good thing is that this is he's banned from promoting or selling crypto products for, it seems, permanently. So for life. That's the only good thing that I see here, is that he can no longer go into the crypto community and take advantage anymore. So that's the one good thing I think that came out of this, aside from 5.6 million coming out of his pocket.
I think it's 5.6 million, but it's a little unclear, as if he's only paying 2.8 and I don't know if his wife is paying the 2.8 or not. Um, you might be right. It might be the 5.6, which is kind of peanuts in the hole that he created with his stupidity. But it is what it is. I go back to the fact that he held the space for VGX 2.0, knowing they were going into bankruptcy and trying to sell it. At the immorality of that. Forget about the legal aspects. You got to be some kind of scumbag.
Dirtiest part of it is that he knew the ship was going down, and he was trying to throw himself a lifeline. He wasn't trying to. He wasn't trying to help his customers. He was trying to sell a broken product for as long as he could, and so that he could rake in as much dough as he could there at the end. It was never about the customers. He was, he always pitched himself as your buddy Steve, and we were stacking Steves when we were collecting VGX, and he pitched himself as your buddy, this guy that you could have a beer with, right? But I don't want to break bread or have a beer with someone who does this kind of thing to their customers when he knows the product is broken, when he knows the product is worthless. Um, and he did that. He's the one that made the product worthless. And so I wish he was getting jail time. I really do.
Yeah, and we'll see. Maybe more lawsuits will come, but at least some accountability. Not
There
enough.
were a lot of people that were hurt. I don't just mean monetarily. I mean, there were people that were threatening suicide because over this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And so to see him not do any jail time when people were hurt like that, I don't have any respect for it.
Oh, how can you have any respect? And I use the word scumbag, and I'll keep using it for ever. Um, hopefully at some point he holds himself accountable, at least says something, but I wouldn't count on it. Let's move on to some good news going into the weekend. The country of Bhutan now holds 40% of its GDP in Bitcoin. So even though the price of Bitcoin, Mr. FOMO, is still hovering between 106 and 107K right now, we'll talk about why we might be in some trouble at towards the end of June before the end of the show. It just shows behind the scenes more and more countries, more and more corporations are slowly accumulating. And this thing will get to 1 million in our lifetime, knock on wood. And right now, actually, it's just hovered above 107 again. As far as the altcoins go, well, that's a whole different story right now. But Bitcoin's going to 1 million. I still think we haven't seen the all-time highs or close to the all-time highs this bull run, but Bitcoin won't be stopped. It just won't be. And so it's nice to see more and more proof of this as we go on.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to 1 million this bull run, but
Not this bull run, no, no
um,
chance.
but it is nice to see that countries are taking significant steps to add Bitcoin to their bottom line. And this is a significant holding. I mean, 40% of its GDP. That is huge. You'd like to see some other countries follow suit and hold a significant portion of Bitcoin, but we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, now another piece of good news. Coinbase now regularly buying Bitcoin every single week for its treasury. Okay. And we don't have exact figures, but I anticipate this is going to continue to get higher and higher and higher. So this is a good thing. Again, another example of Bitcoin accumulators getting more and more and more. I love it. And we'll talk about the altcoin season in just a bit. Obviously, we're not getting to the 130 by Monday. Plan B is best case scenario. Um, I still hold hope, although tonight it seems like the ceasefire is on thin ice again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens over the next few days. I think next week you got to get some good momentum, right? Um, is this real? This can't be real. Mr. FOMO, you're about to break a gasket here. No, there's zero. I'm sorry. And if we lose you as a viewer, so be it. I'm not I'm not ready to move on. If he's in the news, I'm going to report on him. He's
Well,
he's a
I think
scumbag.
you're missing that first part. Bless his heart. There is Southern for he can go straight to hell.
Okay, it was
Um,
sarcasm. Well, late Friday night. I'm sorry, I missed it.
you have to be able
My
to
goodness. I
you
think if
have to
we'd
be
done this
able
so
to
early, I
decipher
apologize.
southern speech there, and so you have it's almost like a Canadian. They won't
Whoops.
cuss you,
Look,
but you have to read between the lines of what they're
this
saying.
is why we don't do that many late shows anymore. You caught me off guard. I completely missed that sarcasm. Shame on us as teachers. How would we miss that? All right, so let's talk about the altcoin season or lack thereof. Um, I asked you before off the air, is the liquidity coming in? Are there enough whales? Are there enough retail? What would it take for July and August to be good for the alts? Are we talking about a move, amazing move up to 125, 130? We talked about how the U.S. wants, the Genius Act is getting signed. That's happening. And how the U.S. wants to have clear regulation by August or September. What is it going to take for people to get excited and put money into alts here?
I really don't know. I still think that retail is very timid when it comes to the altcoins, and I think that's what you're really seeing in the altcoin market is that nobody wants to get burned again like they did after FTX and Voyager and Celsius and all that. Nobody wants to take a chance, um, at getting burned with their life savings. And so crypto represents an opportunity to do that. We talked about scams. We talked about, exchanges going under. It's hard for the regular 9 to 5er who's saving up their money to look at that and say, yeah, that's where I want to put my cash. It doesn't make sense. And so,
Unless people are making a ton of money, like the last bull run.
right, unless people are making a ton of money. Right now, nobody's making any money in the alts.
No, not really. I mean, you
And
might get
so,
lucky here and there, but right now it's been a dry alt season, right? It's been bone dry. And
until you see some of these alts start running, I don't think you're going to see retail very excited about it. And that's what it's going to take. It's sort of a catch-22. You need retail to come in to pump the altcoins, but you also need the altcoins to pump to get retail excited about it.
I
And
agree.
so we're in a sticky situation. And then when you add in things like the Iran air defense or Iran's air defense is on high alert tonight because drones and quadcopters are flying back into their airspace. It's you have that kind of uncertainty in the world, you're going to have more uncertainty in the markets. And I fully expect if we see the ceasefire go down, then I fully expect to see the Bitcoin market take a hit, just like all the other markets will.
Yeah, and I hopefully we don't go back to 100K again. It was nice to see pull up to 108. We went from 100 to 108 in 2 days. That was nice to see. It'd be a shame to lose that momentum. But you're right to give the audience some honesty. It could easily happen. The easiest thing to do, I know it's boring, just hold on to your Bitcoin. Just hold on to your Bitcoin and you'll just could see it go up slowly year after year. And over 4 years, you get tremendous growth. That's just the reality. So I'm going to give you a quick question, and I do this a lot to you, and I apologize. What was Bitcoin 1 year ago today? Any ideas?
It was like in the 60s, wasn't it?
So um, it was, but later on, it was in the 60s. Later on in the summer, August 4th, which would be, over a month from now, it went back down to 49K and then came back up. So we've talked about this before. Summers aren't usually, and that's why at the beginning of June, I didn't get too pumped. June and through mid July aren't normally amazing times August, September, and October are, although September can vary, but August and October are normally really good. But again, we're in a new era. Bitcoin's never had to go through all this stuff before. Trade wars, real wars. There's just so much going on. Civil unrest. It's new, and I think over time it's not gonna be affected by this stuff, but we're not quite there. Even though 95% of Bitcoin has been minted, the amount of people that own Bitcoin overall of the world is still kind of tiny. Michael Saylor said that once 10% of Wall Street gets into Bitcoin, it'll be a million. We're probably still several years away from getting to that 10% of Wall Street. I think it'll happen, and definitely in the next 4 to 5 years. Now, I don't know about the million, but I look, the million is going to happen. It's just unfortunately can't be rushed. If you have Bitcoin right now and you're expecting it to hit a million over the next few months, you're going to be disappointed. Even the next bull run, I don't think a million is probably realistic. I think 500K is. But we have a ways to go. We got a long way to go. And I think I would really like to see us top off here at 180. I think it's just to assume there's not going to be a bear market. I think you're just living in complete denial. There'll be another bear market, which will be good news for people that need to accumulate. But the idea that we're never going to see another bear market again, and we've seen the last of Bitcoin below 100K, probably not accurate. Like, well, let's say we top off at 160. Are we really not going to go back to 100K during a bear if there's a recession in the U.S.? Be honest.
If we get to 160, I think you could see the 80s still in play in a bear market. Especially if these wars continue, trade wars continue, you have a recession mixed in there, and it's not like the Fed's going to stop printing money. And so,
you mean you're not a fan of the big beautiful bill? Sorry, I couldn't.
I'm not a fan of politics at all.
I mean, how can you be? I mean, these guys, especially the way they behave, and I'm talking to you guys that are pledge your allegiance to a different country than the country you're serving. You really should be ashamed of yourselves. Baseball, and I shouldn't do this, but I saw a clip of Ted Cruz at Yankee Stadium, and you should go watch that. It will. We're not just attacking Ted Cruz. We hate them all pretty much, but there's a 30-second clip of Ted Cruz at Yankee Stadium, and I'll send it to you off the air. It is pure gold, or pure Bitcoin, as you like to say. So, guys, by the way, we got a big announcement coming up next week about how you can see and hear more of us, and we're going to reach beyond crypto here, and we're gonna offer some entertainment for you guys. So can't wait to share that with you. Look at Mr. FOMO's eyes, or Mr. Chrome, the AZ